What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sports Warrior. We're continuing the trend by predicting the NFL team schedules. We previously did the Packers, and now let's move on to an exciting Houston Texans team. They had played phenomenal last year. They made it to the AFC divisional round. They ended up losing to the Ravens, but I think this team is in for a good season. And let's get it started here. Week 1 at Indianapolis. CJ Stroud will get the job done, and they'll improve to 1-0 on the season. Now, when the Texans go back home to play the Bears, I think Caleb Williams, he'll show some flashes, but I don't think he's that great quarterback just yet, or maybe even at all. But I think the Texans get another dub, start the year off 2-0. Now, they play the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are a good team. They're very promising. They're healthy, and that's what's scary about them. And I think they're going to start off the year pretty hot. And give me the Vikings over the Texans, actually. Now, the Jaguars and the Texans, I do think the Texans are a better team, but the Jaguars are just hungry from what happened last year. So give me the Jaguars again, beating the Texans at home and sending the Texans to 2-2 on the young season. Next up, the Bills at Houston. I think that's very big. Bills Mafia, they got a great crowd, but I think CJ Stroud will be able to handle business at home, and they're going to be able to get a huge W against the Buffalo Bills. Next, when they go play Drake May and the Patriots, don't think the Patriots are a good team. Nothing else to say. Give me Houston in this one. Now, as you guys may have seen in my previous video, I did explain why I think the Packers will win. But from a Texans standpoint, I think this is just a tough game to go into Green Bay and try to get a W. Don't get me wrong, it will be very close, very entertaining. There will be fireworks and everything. But I think the Packers are a good enough team to win that game. Now, the Texans at home against the Colts, I think they go for a season sweep against them. Although I think this is when the Colts can start getting hot, but this is also when I believe the Texans are going to start to get hot. So give me the Texans in this one. Then the New York Jets, Thursday Night Football. They're playing Aaron Rodgers. I think the Jets are going to be a very good team this year, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to do some great things for them. Obviously, former Packer fan. Love the guy a lot. But the Texans, they stand a good chance against them. CJ Stroud, he's young. Tank Dell is going to be back. This team, Stephon Diggs as well, this team is really good. And we're going to find out a lot about them is when they play these good teams like the Bills, the Jaguars, and the Jets. So far, they're 1-1 against, in my opinion, those great AFC teams. But I think the Jets at home, and I think they're just too good of a football team to beat. Next, the Lions against the Texans. The Texans get a lot more rest in this game than the Lions do. And I think the Texans are going to win this one. This is a big game for them, but I think they're going to be able to come out on top and get a big win. And they're going to be 6-4, about halfway done with the year. Then they go into Dallas, a battle for Texas. Dak Prescott, CJ Stroud. Look, don't get me wrong, the Cowboys are always going to show something good in the regular season. But this year may be the year that it starts to slow down a lot. Maybe like a 9-8 kind of year for the Cowboys, which is why I think Houston goes into Dallas and gets the win for a Battle of Texas. Now they play the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are not going to be a great team this year, but they're going to be able to stump some teams. I think they're going to be able to beat a couple good teams. And, when you play a team like the Texans twice, I think they're bound to win at least one of them. But I think the Texans are going to win their home game against these guys. And then the Jaguars again. This time it's in Jacksonville. The Texans aren't a hot one. They're starting to do good. But the Jaguars, they're still hungry from last year. I don't know where to go in this one, but I think the Texans narrowly will defeat the Jaguars. They head into their bye at a very good 9-4 record. Now they play the Miami Dolphins. It's an indoor game for the Dolphins. Wouldn't be as good if it was outdoors, although Texas is pretty warm. But I think the Dolphins are able to handle them. Once again, it's all about how the Texans do against those superior AFC teams. So far, it's been a pretty 500 kind of year for them. But now they're going into Kansas City on a Saturday. They're going to have to try to figure out a way to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And look, they're the Super Bowl champions. They're not letting up. Give me the Chiefs in this one. However, Ravens, Texans, the team that knocked the Texans out last year on Christmas Day, the Texans are going to get their revenge and win this one. And they're going to be sitting at a 10-6 record, probably closely into the playoffs. But give me the Tennessee Titans here to kind of put a little bump in the road for the Texans. once again, I think they're going to be a very good football team. However, just they have a really tough schedule for them. Like I said, the big games against big AFC teams like the Jaguars, the Bills. It's a lot of games. The Jags, the Bills. You could see, like I mentioned, the Dolphins, Chiefs, Ravens to close off the year. I mean, I think the Texans in the schedule, they did a pretty good job going 2-3 against the big superior teams, which isn't the best, but if you take everything into account, like the Lions beating the Lions as well, I think they're in for a good year beating Cowboys. They get some pretty good wins, which is why I think the Texans finished the year 10-7. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.